Happy Saturday, everybody. Here to give you a quick rundown for the week and heads up on the week to come. I've got some notes here, so if I look down, that's probably why. Just want to make sure I cover everything. So it has been a great week. We have done a lot of really cool things this week. One of them, namely, being elephant toothpaste. That was a hit, and everybody's went off without a hitch. I have the blue cuticles to show for it. You'd think I'd learn how to wear gloves after all this time, but I forget in the excitement. Also, the element, projects were amazing. I love them. They did a great job. They're soaking in that information because I think sometimes that learning about shells and electrons and things like that can be a little bit confusing, but they did a wonderful job. So this week, we learned also one thing too. We learned about Persians and the Phoenicians, and I wish we had more time to spend on them, but we've got so many things to learn that we have to push on to Israel this week. We'll be learning about the history of the Jews, which has to do with the poem or the scripture verse that they'll be reciting in 2 weeks. We did do terracotta oil lamps for art on Friday, so they should be bringing those home on Monday. Let's see. Okay, and just along that note, so this is a pretty uneventful week for major projects or long-term assignments. It's just going to be regular homework. But remember that there are poems in 2 weeks. How I do poems is, since there's so many of them, it would pretty much take us all day if I just sat and listened to poems from everybody. So I offer the opportunity for people to do their poems early. They don't have to, but if they do and they're ready, I give them 5 extra points somewhere on their grades. It doesn't matter where, for them to add points to bring up a grade if they need to, and a sticker if they do it on Monday or Tuesday. But that's only if they're ready. Everybody has to do it by Wednesday. But usually I have several takers, so that kind of spreads out the poems. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I mentioned homework. And go over that. So every night they should have some form of spelling homework, whether it be writing them 2 times each, which is not a whole lot. It takes them a few seconds, probably a few minutes maybe. And they'll have some kind of math. Most of the time it'll be problems 1 through 30 on a lesson. Every now and then, usually on Wednesdays, it'll be a worksheet, a power-up, which actually is a preview of their power-up quiz for the next week, so that they are comfortable with whatever we're working on. And they do well on that. So there really is a method to my madness. Also, with homework, my expectation is that they complete it all. They get a stamp every day if they complete their homework. If they don't, they do not get credit, because it is a small amount. And my expectation is that they shouldn't have a hard time finishing it. We don't do yellow slips in 6th grade. They have an agenda, and there's a space for a parent signature, a parent note on their agenda page for that week, that calendar week. So if you're signing that, which I hope you are, but if you're signing that, you're basically saying that you've kind of gone over the homework with your child and they're not struggling on anything. They've done it correctly. So I guess I'm saying if your child is struggling or asks for help, make sure that they get that help either from a sibling or from you. And you can also let me know and give me a heads up, and I'll work with them too. Because my goal for homework is not to give them busy work. It's to help them solidify the concepts so that they feel comfortable moving forward. Because everything in Saxon builds on itself. So I really want to give them a firm foundation as they go along this year. And that way, if you're looking it over, or if you're understanding that they're struggling with something and you let me know, then we can hit it from both sides and help them to be successful. I wanted to put a little, oh, I'm not sure what the word is, sorry, I forget words. A little something in about pizza, a little hack, if you will, for pizza and ice cream. I'm in charge of the ice cream for the school, but I still like to have the money by Wednesday so that I have time to order enough for everybody. Excuse me. Long ago, I used to just have to guess it, and then they would sell it on Fridays, and then some people would, by the time they got to their lunch, we'd either have run out of what they wanted or, whatever. So in order to not have that problem, I do one type of ice cream per week, and then they could decide whether they want it or not, and they pre-order, so I make sure that everybody gets an ice cream so that we don't run out. But if I have last minute people begging me for ice cream or forgetting, sometimes I cut it super close, like I just buy exactly what I need. Every once in a while, I always try to buy a couple extra, but things happen, whatever. So I'd like to try and get the ice cream orders in by Wednesdays. So my hack is this for pizza and for ice cream. If you know your child is going to want the ice cream every week, want the pizza every week, I would send in a check or money for the next, 5 or 6, maybe 8 weeks. You can count them out. It's every week that we don't have a half day, more or less. And send that in. For pizza, you'd send it in to the office. For ice cream, you'd send it in to me. So that's my idea for you. If that just saves you from having to worry about it every week and your kids forgetting and then being upset they don't have ice cream or they don't have pizza, you do it ahead of time. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And you can do it for your other kids too. They'll just mark it on the pizza envelopes, and I'll mark it on the ice cream envelope. Let's see, what else? Oh, did I make it through with everything? Oh my goodness, I think I might have. Anyways, still loving being with your kids. I love when they get excited. My heart just goes pitter-pat whenever I heard some of them say, oh, this is the most fun experiment that I've ever had. When we did elephant toothpaste, I'm just like inside, geeking out. So I just love seeing them happy, dancing around, smiling, and learning. That brings me incredible joy. And I appreciate your support from home. And let me think. Like I said, I think this is going to be a pretty quiet week, but they might want to take that opportunity to work on their poem and also work on their next geography test, which we are now in the Middle East, because that's where we're learning about in social studies. So, because we are in Jerusalem and Babylon, and those places are modern day Iraq, Iran, Israel, Jordan, those areas. So they'll be learning about those countries. So they might want to take an opportunity to work a little bit ahead on those. I will always accept assignments early. So if they get their book report done, they can turn it in to me ahead of time. I'll keep hold of it and grade it for them. And I think, one more thing. I know this isn't a popular subject, but this concerns me. I've had so many absences, and we're only in week 3 of school. And I understand that everybody has things that they're doing, and they've got appointments and things like that. I get it. I'm not trying to downplay that at all, but we move really fast and we cover a lot of things every day. So I've already told them that they are to be responsible for their own learning. I try to keep track, and I do on my database, but it's hard for me to remember off the top of my head every day who missed what, who needs to make what up. And most of the time they do need to make it up. So they're responsible for their own learning. And if they're going to be gone, or if they were gone, if they were sick or if something happened, they need to come to me and say, what did I miss? How can I make it up? I usually leave whatever we're working on, a copy of whatever we're working on their desks. So when they get back, they kind of have a hint of what they have to make up. It's not because I'm trying to be, on them about being gone. It's because if they miss something, then they have to, kind of backload that information so that they're ready for what we're doing now. So it is hard to make up from being gone. So I'm hoping that I can appeal to you to keep the absences to a minimum if you can, and also try to get them to school on time, because we have math first, so they miss, sometimes if they're late in the morning, they miss the lesson, or they miss practice, and they miss the question and answer period, which I think helps a lot of kids, because we're talking about the problems we're working on and things that sometimes we get wrong and how we can make them right and that kind of thing. So it's just out of concern for your kids' learning. That being said, I feel like I'm really flexible and understanding. So if you know something's coming up, or if you have questions about making something up, you can always reach out to me, and I will try and help the best I can. So anyways, love your kids, love you guys. So happy. This has been a great year so far, and it's only been 3 weeks. So I'm hoping that it keeps going this way. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.